Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best live YouTube stream to talk about the markets. Welcome back, everybody. March 4th. It is Wednesday. We've got a squeeze today to counter the dump that we had yesterday. We still can't leave the Hotel California range in equities. I can't even joke about it at this point. I hate it, but at least crypto's got some pretty good volatility today, right? Bitcoin up about 7%, ETH up about 8 or 9%. Altcoins obviously following through as well. We'll discuss all of that and then some on today's episode. We've got me, Snorlax, Prometheus, Chimp Phone, our guest today, and of course Chef Jackus. We're gonna have a great episode for you guys. But before we can get started, before we can start cooking, opening up the charts and sharing our thoughts on the market, I'm going to ask very nicely if you guys can hit that like button for us, especially for our special guest, Chimp Phone, who it's been a while since he's been on Market Check with us. But nevertheless, guys, we will cook for you guys and have a great, we're going to have a great stream. But yeah, I've already kind of touched on the market a little bit. Bitcoin punching above 73K. Is this a sign of the bottom? Is this a short squeeze? We'll talk about it on the show, as I've said a few times already to open up this stream. I mean, ETH is up. I'm not sure what Bitcoin dominance is doing, because I'm seeing Bitcoin up more than some altcoins, which I do think is pretty interesting. But I would say also not that surprising, right? What's going to be catching most of the bid from boomers on green days? It's going to be Bitcoin. It's going to be that correlation to equity markets. But Mag 7 is rebounding today. That's why we're seeing some outsized strength from the NASDAQ versus other indices. Will we be breaking down from this range, or are we about to potentially rip out from the top side of the S&P, which is currently 7,000, right? I mean, 6,700 and 7,000, those are really the two levels to be cognizant of if you are trading equity markets. Above and below, we will have a very, very volatile move, because we're talking about ultimately 6 to 8 months of positioning now that could potentially unwind, right? And I've been saying, I think that there are risk peripheries that are probably pointing towards that break, probably more likely to be lower. But you can never rule anything out, right, when it comes to this market, especially when it comes to American tech. We'll see if the war has any meaningful movement on the market as well. But I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, guys. I mean, I feel like we're very much in we get a headline, volatility will give us an impulsive move higher. They crush volatility, but the floor for vol continues to rise, and thus the ceiling for a lot of these assets and equities continues to fall. So we kind of need to see a larger crush on volatility. Maybe that's resolution to the war. I don't know. Maybe the war doesn't matter, because the VIX was already trading elevated before that. Regardless, I mean, that's what you need to see. You need to see volatility crush. And I also think you probably need to see this level on the dollar probably turn into a spot where we see a rejection as well. But lots to discuss, guys. How are we doing? What are we seeing in the markets? Welcome, Chimp Phone. And yeah, guys, hope everybody's having a great week so far.
When the market finally bounces. Pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, it feels nice to have some green in the market. The vibes are definitely much better always.
They are. You should always respect the pump, even when you're bearish. That's kind
True.
of like in the past. Would, on days like today, I'd be like, "Oh, ha ha ha, bulls, you've fallen right into my trap." But I'm just like, now it's respect the pump, right? If you're making money on longs, then I'm happy for you. I will say here's what I saw when I opened up X today. I saw people buying spot per on Hyperliquid. And I thought to myself, yeah, you should be doing that after an 8% rally on Bitcoin in a day, not before. But yeah, that's anecdotal.
I completely missed this entire move, so I can't really. I'll be honest. I'll say right now. I don't know what's it.
Wait,
Kind of.
I have
kind
a
of just
meme
haven't
for
really.
you.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
Keep talking. I'll put it
Okay,
over.
yeah. So I kind of missed it because I thought I was pretty bear hold, but also like I think people are celebrating maybe a little bit too early, personally. But it does look like a pretty like decent bottom chart wise. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I don't really feel like angry. I used to get like so tilted when people would be like, "Oh, did you miss this?" Blah blah blah, all of that shit. But like, it's whatever. It's kind of good. I haven't really been paying attention to crypto since like 1010, so I can't really be that mad for not chopping myself up in the meantime. I do wonder how much of this people seem to be equating the fact that there's a decent like narrative now because of people converting money to Bitcoin to escape war areas, but I don't really I don't think that's actually happening, but it's a fun narrative nonetheless. But yeah, no, I missed all of this, and so I'm coping pretty bad.
I don't think you need to cope. Like, let's not sugarcoat this. Crypto has been pretty shit for a long while, and it will take a long while before it gets exciting again. Anyway, so
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, I hope it keeps going up. But the problem is for me, I mainly make money on crypto these days by playing like on chain and stuff, and on chain is just fucking terrible for absolutely ages.
It really is.
This whole like claim fees meta was some of the worst shit I've ever had to be part of. It was like basically crypto Twitter was sitting in the cuckold chair begging them to claim fees so that they can endorse their coin, and I didn't really want to play those games. So yeah, and all of this AI stuff is going past me as well. I come from like somewhat technical background, and I just can't look over how most of these are like vibe coded slop. Like anyone that's actually making a real product isn't going to fucking launch a pump fund coin, are they? They're going to hope to get acquired like they did with OpenClaw. So having said that, I do think long term, I actually think there's a pretty good, and I'm talking long term, I'm not talking like in this year or something, but in the next few years, I do think there's possibly a pretty good bull case for like Ethereum over Bitcoin. Just because if all of this agent stuff does take off, and I think permissionless money will be important. I think that if they manage to scale Ethereum to like really fast and cheap transactions, which is what they said they're going to do, but fuck knows if they're actually going to do it, then I think there's a pretty good bull case there, and the EF and all of that are leaning heavily into it. So I kind of like ETH long term, but I think it's going to trade lower this year.
I kind of like the thesis, but at the end, you totally ruined it with saying you think it's gonna go lower first.
yeah. Look, I mean, who knows? But I don't know. I've kind of just been thinking like US stocks are going to go down this year, and maybe that's a heresy to say, but I don't know. It feels like they're juicing it on like nothing, and that's why it's been stuck in a range forever, and they're like fudging all the numbers and all of this shit just to prop it up. And I can't imagine all of this. I mean, I'm not a geopolitical expert, but obviously we can pretend to be if we use Twitter. But it seems as though the closing of the strait and all of that stuff probably isn't going to be too good for the economy in general, and all these tariffs if they're actually coming in. So who knows?
I mean, closing the Strait of Hormuz isn't definitely, convenient for countries like India, China, probably EU. Like EU is totally fucked, as we know. For you and me who live there, but for
Yeah.
US it's pretty good actually. US is now the largest producer of oil in the world. Over the past decade, it ramped up its fracking, and it's not dependent on anyone anymore. Pretty much, like it still does import some oil, the hard one from like Canada and from Mexico, but I don't, it's probably not going to affect US at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think a lot of stuff is still made in like China and India, no? And so they have to get stuff over. I guess they have planes. I don't fucking know how all of this stuff works. I just see people whinging and complaining and get involved. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to have some effect. I'd like US stocks to go down, but I feel like a lot of people are somehow still sidelined. But who knows?
No, I agree with you. I think lots of stocks are ready to correct further. The tough situation with SPX was that we saw lots of stocks correcting quite a lot, even like from Mach 7, right? The thing is that while that was happening, lots of stocks also went up at the same time, and it kind of resulted in SPX going basically sideways for how much now? Like 6 months, right? Yeah, this is the 6 months currently. So it always offset each other's move, kind of. But like if you're gonna look at, Microsoft, like that's a huge company, and it's down 30% from the top. So that idea of like stocks correcting is definitely there, and it's been happening.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason why we are bouncing now, is because, those tech names, right, like software, Microsoft, they've given just like 8-9% bounces from their local lows, which, the NASDAQ has been outperforming on these bounces. It's like you said, we saw capital rotation where tech slowed down, and then you had defensives bid. And now we have a situation where, defensives are underperforming tech because some of these individuals were just down a higher ROI. So now they're bouncing back. We're seeing tech lead the index once again, but it's kind of funny. We've kind of shifted now to the point where you have financials maybe showing some weakness as well. Looking at a chart like JP Morgan, the XLF, those are kind of bleeding down into those levels where you're like, okay, well, this needs to be defended too. We can't just bounce tech and save the index. We have to make sure the financials aren't about to slide more meaningfully. And then I look at junk bonds, HYG, and that to me looks like it's set for a much larger move down. So to me, it kind of checks out with the weakness that we're seeing in financials. And I do think if we have financials putting pressure on the S&P, for one, it's going to be hard to break out. It's going to be constraining on liquidity. But I do also think we're probably going to see tech catch up to that weakness as well.
What do you think about the banking stocks, guys? If like what Chimphon was saying regarding the agents, like what if they start using the stables and bypassing the banking system? Isn't that bearish? Lots of banking stocks. I assume not all of them, especially not like the the new fintechs that are very much integrating all of the stables. But what about the large ones?
I think it kind of depends, right? It depends. My point is, like, I think there's going to be like a Wild West for a little bit with agents where they're kind of just people. That's where I think Ethereum benefits, where people are just going to like spin up stuff and they need access. It needs a bank account, and Ethereum provides a pretty good. I mean, you could argue any blockchain really, but obviously ETH has kind of got the best tooling for it at the moment. I'm sure that after a certain number of years, they'll all be incorporated into like a Fed chain. But then if there's any illegal stuff happening, they have to be somewhat liable for it, maybe. I don't know. It kind of seems like there's kind of a gray area gap, I think, where ETH benefits the most. That's my impression anyway. At least until like 2030 or something, maybe a little bit before. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows if any of this AI stuff is actually going to matter? I mean, all these IPOs planned as well this year, I think, are going to be pretty brutal for stocks. I think it's going to be like the Coinbase moment when Coinbase stock launched and crypto died. I wouldn't be surprised the space, the XAI or Anthropic or OpenAI IPOing should, in my opinion, bring down a lot of the market.
I mean, I can totally envision it in my head. Obviously, it's another thing like realistically making it happen, right? Because if we look back at the .com, lots of the stuff people said is going to happen has happened, but not in 2000, but usually like a decade later, right? And so you had companies that, ran on the hype, then it all died out, and then it like became a reality. I can totally see how you're gonna like tell your agent to buy you a vacation and schedule stuff there and book a car, and it's gonna pay for everything, and that's gonna be super efficient. Like, you as a customer will love this. You will not even care about crypto pretty much. You'll just be like, hey agent, I want to go there, this is me, find me stuff, and it's gonna do everything, and it's gonna be amazing for lots of people. So I can envision this in my head. But again, if I go back to the to like the how it revolves around the prices, right? I think we need to go first left curve about this. So we can foresee this ahead. ETH has been accumulating for the past 5 years. That's clear from the chart. It's been going sideways between, on the with most volume between 2 to 4K. What's likely going to happen is that this is going to become a reality. ETH is probably going to pump a lot ahead of this. And then sometimes down the line, maybe like 2032, it becomes a reality. I'm just thinking out loud, obviously.
No, I think that's completely accurate. I just think when I'm talking about stocks and everything going down, that's why I think ETH is going to go down as well, because I think it's going to get dragged down. But yeah, I think at like end of this whole like every job is going to be displaced in 2 years. It's just retarded. It's absolutely stupid. But within 10 years, yeah, I could see that. I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, but I think where we differ, you and me, is regarding the expectations from the price, where I think it's gonna pump pretty much from here, and then it's gonna like when this becomes obvious, then it's actually gonna go into a bear market, and then it's only going to start working, but it's gonna be like long after. But yeah, that's totally fine. Regarding this comment, bear markets aren't this short either. I think that's the main topic. Like, if you're gonna look at the ETH chart, you're not in a bear market. You are in a bearish trend, but it's within a larger sideways period. And I think lots of people mistakenly, and obviously the situation is totally different with alts, right? Like shitcoins in general. Yes, they've been in a bear market since pretty much March 2024. Which is 2 years now, by the way. That also tells you a lot. So the bear market isn't actually short, it's pretty long. Because it's longer than in 2022, actually, for lots of these shitcoins. But for ETH, it's not really in a bear market. It's been sideways. And therefore, you cannot treat this like down, in my opinion, as a bear market.
Not yet. I mean,
it went down 70% though. ETH is down like 70% though.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. But like,
yeah.
Again, if you just look at last year, it dropped 65%, 66 to the April lows, and then in just in just in just 130 days, 140 days, it ran to 5K, and now it's down again. And I understand it can be like confusing, but like you're technically the same price you were, October 23.
Yeah, I guess in my opinion, I just don't really
21.
care. Maybe my thing is I just don't really care about classifying it as a bear market or a bull market. I just think it's kind of just been shit, and it could go up from here. If it goes up from here, I'd love that, because it means we typically get good like on-chain actions. So I'd love that.
The reason I am trying to specify it is because of this comment where I suppose it's a girl, Josie girl, that Josie girl, but says bear markets aren't this short either. And that's why I say that this is the reason why I'm trying to classify it not as a bear market, because to me it's not a bear market, and therefore it can be this short. Because again, if you're gonna look at the Q1 dump of last year that lasted 120 days, and right now you're technically at 168 days to the current low. So like, yes, it can totally be this short. If you're gonna look at 2022 bear market, that was 224 days. So like, yes, bear markets aren't this short if you're gonna look at ETH, but then again, if you're gonna look at alts, they've been in a bear market since March 2024. That's 2 years. And ETH, in my opinion, isn't in a bear market.
I think for some things to be like in a further bear market from here, like especially from a crypto standpoint, I mean, you've talked about this before, Jackus. I mean, like if we do break down from here, we are going a lot lower in crypto, specifically majors. Your stance on whether or not we're here or if that's going to be like a down the line thing, you know, I think it's going to differ from person to person. I don't know. I kind of feel like I see both sides to the argument, but I still don't like the 2022 comparisons for crypto, mainly because it would imply we're in the bottoming process right now for crypto. And by the time crypto entered the bottoming process in 2022, equities were also in the bottoming process. And I don't think that equities are in the bottoming process right now. So I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth, but I do agree with Chimphone that we're probably going to see U.S. equities drag everything lower later this year. It's just a matter of how deep and how long that takes.
I saw like a seasonality meme thing where it was like midterms and stuff. But like it tends to like go down into the midterms and then bottom around the midterms. I don't know how true that is, but I feel like it kind of aligns with my general idea. So I kind of expected like a Q4 bottom, but I guess a lot of people think that, and maybe we never get that. But who knows? Who knows?
I swear that's the biggest consensus I've seen since,
Yeah.
Apple was
exactly.
promising me for 14, 12K.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? But that's why it makes sense if we go up for a bit now. Everyone writes that idea off, and then we just die again, and then that maybe would work. But who knows? I'm not positioned for that. I'm just, like I said, mainly cash. So I literally, I'm a pussy at the moment. Yeah, thank you, Hedgelord. Very good point. Thank you.
I feel like we're gonna bottom before the summer, at least like short term. I think we find a bottom before the summer, because summer, everybody likes to say the summer is a period where you should just completely check out. But I can think back towards the last few years, and pretty much like all but maybe one summer, which is, I would say, like the summer of 2024. We had some like very aggressive moves to the upside in risk, because there's just nobody sells in the summer. So you just get like these huge outsized periods of risk on behavior. Small caps last year in equities, obviously ETH ran from 1,500 to 4K or almost 5K. In 2023, Bitcoin made that second move towards 30K, and altcoins gave really nice moves as well. 2022, even in the heat of the bear market, man, we had that whole like almost mini alt season in the summer. So, I feel like everybody says to check out during the summer. I think it's kind of like this prime period where we just get bounces. So I feel like I'm probably going to be bearishly inclined until the summer, and then I'll be bullish for the summer, and we'll kind of see where everything is trading into and out of that. That's kind of like my plan for the year. But I do think we're going to front run that whole like Q3, Q4 bottom, because especially for crypto, man, everybody has been predicting that. The Q4, the October, November, I don't even know what date people are using, but like the Q4, we'll buy the Q4 lows on crypto, and then we'll ride off into the sunset forever. I don't know if I can.
What if
it was that easy?
Do we not feel this is a little euphoric for a high time frame bottom? like the sentiment.
I mean,
Like, I mean, it's insanity on the timeline. I mean, they're like, man, I told you. It's like that bro at the pickup game, you know, when you go to like the park and you're playing the pickup game with the bros, and there's like that one random guy and he's just like chucking threes from half court and he's just airballing every single one of them. And then he hits one of them. He's like, man, I told you I was going to make that. And you're just like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, and it's like the guys that have like literally rode every single bag they hold from 120 down to 60K, and we get a bounce off the bottom, and they're like, man, I told you we were going to bounce. And you're just like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's how it feels. That's how it feels. I mentioned
one day
in
it
the
will work.
Yes, one day it will work. A broken clock is right 2 times a day, or twice a day. But I mean, I've been saying in the Discord to everybody in the Discord, we saw over the weekend specifically a big buyer on Coinbase coming into the market. And I mentioned that, okay, like as long as that buyer remains within the market, like they provided a lot of plunge protection over the weekend. Bitcoin would have gone a lot lower had Coinbase not stepped in. And I said, okay, as long as whoever that is, whether it's Coinbase themselves or some big institution or money manager or whatever, as long as they're within the market, I mean, the bottom, at least locally speaking, is probably in. I just have a hard time seeing equities telegraphing a move lower with the VIX and volatility, and thinking that, you know, this is more than just some form of like, you know, relief bounce in like the broader scheme of a higher time frame downtrend. You know, I'm like, it just is what it is, right?
Well, I do not know about the timeline being euphoric. I don't think so. And honestly, even if it was, I don't think it matters, because the reality is that most people are absolutely out of the market. They are decimated, whether it was 10 cents or anything before or anything after. The reality is that 90%, and I think it's maybe even more, of people would be absolutely put on the wrong side if this was the bottom right now. Now, I'm not saying it is yet. Obviously, you know, you cannot confirm that until it gets confirmed. But I'm saying nobody pretty much is even trying to think that this could be the bottom. If anything, the consensus right now is, yeah, I'm gonna short, you know, whatever this move higher into a move lower. And yes, you have some people who think, yeah, this could be the bottom, but we are going below 60K still. You know, we're going to hit like 55 or something. But nearly nobody can envision the possibility of this being the bottom, in my opinion. Or even if they can, they will not and are not positioned for it. So we'll
I think
see.
it's going to take more time to know if this is the bottom or not. I think that
Absolutely.
we did not spend enough time at the lows for this to be like, in my opinion, like to know if the lows are in. I think we need more time. And then we'll know. And it's not a price-based thing for me. It's really a time-based thing. I think with the aggression and the sell-off that we had, you know, from the beginning of the year until really the beginning of February, I just generally speaking thinks it's going to take longer reaccumulation than what a lot of people may think. You know, I talked to the Discord this morning about how bottoms actually form. But, you know, there are people that, you know, again, it's kind of like one of those gotcha moments. They're like, oh, I rode down my bags all the way, and you've, you know, had great short trades the entire time, but now that we got a bounce since the lows, haha, you're wrong, kind of thing. And it's really like complacent behavior. Like, it is extremely complacent behavior, in my opinion, that again, is just very indicative of me of like a bottom not being in at all. You know, I had mentioned, and to some of the people that are commenting in the comments, my only short position in crypto was on Zcash, and we closed that out 2 days ago at 220. So I was flat on crypto. Majority of my short exposure was in equities. Covered some of that shorts on CoreWeave yesterday at the lows. On Tesla, kind of watching. We're at about break even right now. But I mean, Bitcoin and crypto is kind of like a no trade region for me. Like we hadn't really swept any of the lows out. We hadn't swept any of the highs out. You were sitting right in the middle of the range the other day for Bitcoin. And so if you wanted to take a long position in the middle of the range, like be my guest, be that guy that wants to, take longs or shorts at the middle of the range. I prefer not to trade like that. And if you longed it at the middle of the range, congratulations, good for you. Keep doing that. And let's see how your equity curve looks like in 24 months. But at the end of the day, I think it's very, very, very important to realize, like I said, my higher time frame structural outlook, like we said, if I'm looking at equities, because equities are far more important than crypto. Everybody wants to view signal from crypto. Crypto, I could give a less a damn about. The broader scale picture of where we're at least from a higher time frame perspective for the indices in particular, are far more important than what Bitcoin is doing. And that's the same in relation to altcoins and Bitcoin. There's no signal in altcoins if Bitcoin wants to do something. Like if Bitcoin wants to do something, let's say Bitcoin wants to go up, right, or down, like your altcoins, everything is derived from Bitcoin. It's just the alpha relationship within the financial markets. And I do think that we are in a topping process similar to what Tommy thinks for equities. Like I think that there's massive distribution on these charts that is occurring. The framework that you can buy every 6% dip on the S&P, I think is just completely psyoped everybody at this point. And I'm going to continue to remain in the camp that, I believe that they're telegraphing lower prices. I have invalidations, and that's part of risk management as a trader. And that's the beautiful thing. I have no problem flipping long Bitcoin here, targeting 80K either. I talked about that with the Discord as well. You accept above some certain areas and get certain structures forming. I think that there's fantastic long opportunity presenting itself in Solana and Ethereum, potentially up to 2,500 for ETH, potentially up into like 110 for Solana, and there's going to be fantastic room to the upside. Structure forms and you just watch and see, but it is what it is. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the markets.
I think the elephant in the room that absolutely nobody wants to address when it comes to high time frame here, they hate it, is the relative amount of U.S. household wealth in U.S. equities is at all-time highs, and like 10% above where it was at the tech bubble highs. For me, that's kind of like the single most damning thing when I'm looking at crypto, and it's like, we find a cycle bottom and then have another 3 or 4 years of excess after this. It's kind of difficult for me to comprehend what that looks like, right? Given that context, like equities are already at historically stretched valuations. And I feel like the AI narrative is it's malleable like crypto, but I think it's being used as a way of like trying to psyop people into thinking that valuation, like that these constraints are no longer constraints for the market, which is what you see at the top of every bubble, by the way. It's always how it's a new paradigm. So, I'm just going to continue to lean into that. Yeah, we don't see that relative share of household wealth be so high in U.S. equities at the beginning of a bull market. It's at the end. So that would be what I have to say about that. But, sentiment, I think it's going to be, it makes sense to me that people are still very hopeful, right? Because we have these narratives at the same time. It's like, oh, AI money jobs, right? Right, Chimphone. We have, no, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's true. It's just a literal slop takes, never ending articles and posts about money being worthless, jobs being worthless, and AI is the only thing that's going to save.
Oh my god, it's so fucking annoying.
It's
really
literally never ending.
like I can see, so like, I think you guys have it the same, how split you probably are about AI. Like on one side, that's the light side. You see so many, great things. Like when you think about not sure if you guys saw the A Night of the uh Seven Kingdoms, right? Recently. Do you guys know? Guys?
No.
I need to watch
Yeah.
it. It's on my list. I need to watch it. I'm finishing up some other things, and then I'm gonna watch it.
It's like there is no way none of you guys seen it, but whatever. But like, yeah, it's obviously a TV show from the Game of Thrones world, the recent one, and it's just been huge. Everyone was like, "Yeah, that's amazing," and it truly is. But when you think about it, it was really just 6 freaking episodes uh, that are 30 minutes long, and it's like you get that after 2 years of a break, you get 6 episodes of just 30 minutes. You're like, what? And I can see the light side of AI, how it can so much help create these movies way faster, perhaps, or anything. But then the other side, the dark side, is like all of this AI slop, all of these like social media gurus telling you how AI is going to replace you and it's the end of the world. And it's just that's horrible to read, to just every day. It's like the same. Yeah.
Here's why the end of the world is bullish for my bags without even a hint of irony. I mean, that's literally what it is. I mean, we're now at the point where we're trying to use something like what happened with Block last week as a bullish catalyst for the market. Like, yeah, we're going to cut all these jobs and it's going to pump the crap out of the market, but only enough so that I can sell at much higher prices. And don't worry, I'm not going to be bag holding on the way down. That's just kind of what
exactly. It's all just short-term gains. It's so bad.
It feels like borrowed prediction almost. Like
it is. And like
in,
Jack has said earlier, it's not far off to imagine that like the .com, eventually it all becomes true, but not in the years that people are. I mean, people are saying like super intelligence by 2028. Like, really? Do we really think that's going to happen, or is it just that everyone's IPOing this year and everyone's saying it has equity in these privates?
Chimp, it's literally gonna be Elon telling you that self-driving Teslas are coming this fall since 2016.
Yeah. Like, I mean, AI is incredible. I mean, I use it every day. It's so good. Don't get me wrong. It's really, really powerful. But like this whole like displacing the entire job market and changing the world and curing cancer in like 3 years is just unbelievable to me. Absolutely, just
it's like when cars came out. Like the guys that had shoveled the horse shit, it's like, well, they had to stop shoveling shit, but they just found somewhere else to work. Maybe it was like on the assembly line or whatever. It's like you get job destruction, but creation at the same time. Like there's a whole slew of new jobs that open up. There's many places that AI is just going to have a very, very, very tough time penetrating from that kind of perspective.
It honestly reminds me of crypto 4 years ago. Like, just being real, how crypto is going to replace the financial system and all of these rails for on and off ramping capital payments, whatever. And most of it was just complete garbage. Went down 99%. And we look back now and we're like, yeah, it deserved to go down 99%. It probably should go down another 99%. And obviously there are going to be winners, but I think people are a little too caught up in the speculative fervor of technology and obviously asset appreciation, the wealth effect that's caused, and they're just not really able to be objective about what AI is right now, which is, I'm maybe going to be a little bit more of like a hater on AI than most people, but like I really, we've seen these improvements with Claude, but marginally speaking, like the ChatGPT moment was the real, like, that was the most innovative moment of the entire AI cycle, in my opinion. And everything else has been kind of like these incremental benefits or incremental, like these incremental improvements to the technology. And we're just kind of like our expectations have way outpaced the reality. I can't even get Grok to make me a good profile picture. It's an idiot. It is honestly like an idiot. Sorry, Grok. I know my future overlords will likely be artificial intelligence and technology, but it's just like, I don't know. I think we're just, if you know the theory of reflexivity, it's where expectations outpace the reality of price, and that's where I feel like we are with AI, and where I feel like equity markets are at this point. Like the S&P, if it had traded in line with market expectations on the tech, the S&P should be like twice as high as it is right now. And I'm being dead serious when I say that. But we haven't moved in 6 months. Nobody is buying the S&P up here. Nobody is buying Nvidia up here. I mean, it just seems, yeah, we're at the point where like expectations are way past what the reality of the technology is. And now eventually we're going to see that downswing in the same way that we saw with crypto. And people are going to want to buy the dip, right? People are going to want to buy the dip in the same way that they did in 2022. But a lot of them are going to buy the wrong asset and get carried out. And a lot of them who are super bullish up here are not going to be super bullish at the bottom for AI. I think we are in a secular uptrend for AI, but there are going to be discounts along the way. I think you're kind of being irrational if you don't think that we're going to get discounts on the AI trend, in my opinion. But I digress.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all nuts at the moment. It's all crazy. Everyone's kind of balled up like mad. So who fucking knows? I expect it to go down though this year. I just need people to shut the fuck up for like more than a day as well. Like that would just be brilliant as well. Like it's actually insane. It's just insane.
We are up one day, it's moon. The other day we are down, and it's Goblin Town.
Yeah, it's just one day just to just make them shut the fuck up. Like it would be beautiful. I will be doing victory laps when their stocks finally fucking go down.
You guys remember Elliott Capital?
Yes.
No.
From 2022. He was like,
yes.
I mean, he was like one of the biggest bears for a long time. Like, I'm pretty sure he was bearish for pretty much the entire uptrend in U.S. equities. And now he's like making fun of bears pretty much every day. So not to single out one person, but I saw that. I hadn't looked at his profile in probably like 2 years. And then I looked at his profile last week and I was thinking to myself, well. Well.
Sailor also coming out today saying you can buy more Bitcoin than people can sell.
Sailor's been coming out like every day for the last few weeks, or for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like, trying to get people to buy Bitcoin. Am I crazy for saying that? I feel like he has been, right?
Oh, fully. He's been, I mean, manic on the timeline.
I guess
Is this Sailor? Did you say that? Is that Sailor?
Yeah. He said that we can buy more Bitcoin than they can sell.
Yeah, I mean, if you were like the amount of money he has on the line, I think I would be going crazy as well. So
yeah,
he's also got like the eyes of the world watching him and kind of wanting him to fail. So I can't imagine that he's, his brain is just fried probably. Well, definitely actually seeing those AI pictures he posts all the time.
Bro's been microwave.
Yeah, he's firmly been put in a microwave and fucking scrambled. That's for sure.
Well, I don't know, because he's kind of got those acoustic properties that, allow him to disassociate on another level, I'm sure.
Acoustic.
What's the other guy? Tom Lee's the ETH version of him, right?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the BMR.
He's insane as well. Like, these people are just absolutely fucking insane. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's a degenerate. Is he Korean?
I don't know, but if he's
That's a
not,
good
then that's
question.
incredibly racist of you.
I wasn't. I didn't,
I'm joking.
I didn't make any deductions from that. I was just asking a question.
I'm joking. Yeah, I don't know. Also heard DeepSeek are dropping a model this week. Does that matter anymore? I feel like it doesn't. A few people were
I don't
hyping it
think
up,
so.
but I think the only reason DeepSeek mattered before is because it came out of like nowhere.
Mhm.
Whereas this time everyone's like, it's coming out this week, it's gonna bring the end to stocks. And it's like, I don't think that's how it works, buddy. I really don't think it is.
That's
And
a
also
pretty.
they straight up just lied about the number of Nvidia GPUs they trained on last time, so they're gonna lie again.
Who is
And that's
that?
what the last time DeepSeek dropped the model and shot them, they were like, oh, they trained it on like 200 GPUs. You don't need all these GPUs. And then it just turned out they just illegally trained them, and they're going to do the same again. So people are going to run that same narrative and be like, wow, they used 4 GPUs that you can buy from eBay, but actually they've got like 1,000 trillion Blackwell chips sitting in some Mongolian field that they're training on or something like that.
That's one. What do you guys think about the moves in Asian markets over the last like 48 hours?
Oh yeah, the Korean market.
I mean, it makes sense, right? CT started paying attention to it, so as soon as CT start trying to trade other things, it's the death. I think it's that Alexander Good. Is that his name? Alexander Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that tweet, which was like, as soon as you see CT pivoting to other markets, it's got like a 2-week lifespan, and it's true. The hit rate is genuinely insane on that. I think it happened with gold in like October or November or whatever it was. It happened to the Korean stocks. It's
Binance listing silver at the high.
Yeah. That was crazy.
No, they never miss. The best accuracy this cycle was Binance listing something at the top.
Dude, the craziest thing I've seen Binance do was Binance Junior. I mean, we're trying to liquidate the children now. Like, what are we doing?
That was the funniest thing they've ever done.
What did they list at the high? Sorry, what was that?
Silver.
Oh yeah, silver. Yeah.
The Binance Junior stuff is the funniest thing they've done.
That's goated. You got to train, because the thing is, it will train them to never trust anyone, and they're going to come out as like the best traders in the world because of the neuroplasticity of the brain. It's so smart. Honestly, China, they've got like a super army of children training, and they're going to take over the markets in like 20 years when they've all grown up.
China?
It's genius. Yeah. Think about it. Binance is onboarding the children to the worst market ever, so that they can train and become the best traders ever and steal all the Americans' money. This is CZ's master plan.
Oh
no, Vegeta!
Oh, no.
Tell me it ain't so.
No.
Tell me it ain't so.
Well, I was bullish on copper.
Oh no, I gotta rethink my life decisions now.
Would you guys buy SBET? Sharplink?
I'd rather just long Ethereum, honestly.
I think SBET could outperform ETH.
Oh my god, that chart.
Oh my, yeah, this is rough.
I mean, I feel like that pump it's kind of like the circle chart.
Yeah, I'd just rather long. I don't know what to make of it. I'd rather just long ETH, honestly.
I think it's just like the circle chart, but I think circle is finishing the rally right now around these prices. I still think circle is just playing out the Coinbase fractal, the IPO fractal, that is. For the first time in like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm kind of interested in shorting Coinbase again.
And dive back into it.
Yeah, it's just like these crypto options don't really have, they're overpriced, right? So I don't want to harp. I was saying this in the call this morning. I don't want to harp too much on beta.
Is Tommy robotic or is it just me?
Oh no.
Just 2.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine for me.
It's very rare. Very
It is very rare.
Yeah, this is it's like crypto pumping. It's like, what is going on?
Because I feel like when the market's moving down, or obviously when the market's moving higher, everybody is looking for beta that's going to outperform the alpha in either direction. And I think if you're playing beta too heavily right now, you're going to end up, you might end up cucking yourself, honestly, because like if we get the move that I think we're going to get on a lot of these alphas, IV is just going to cut into your profits if you're too fixated on playing the beta to the downside. I think alphas are going to move just fine. And the options pricing is probably going to be more important than the beta itself. I don't know how you feel about that, Prometheus, but that's kind of what I've been noticing is that, I mean, for one, obviously options are going to be way more, they're going to be cheaper on names where the relative volt that you're going to see is going to be lower typically, but I think we're about to see some pretty extreme vol across the market. So I think they're just better options to be holding than explicitly seeking shorts on beta.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I kind of took a hedge out on SQQQ the other day, kind of got back above the levels that I wanted. And the reason why I took out a hedge on SQQQ to flatten out some of my energy exposure was that because exactly to your point, I mean, you got to be very careful positioning with options. A lot of people view them as kind of like convexity or, higher levered bet on whatever it is, underlying they choose. But if you're not careful and you don't actually understand how they're priced and how they actually move, and you dive into, like, let's say some puts yesterday where volatility is trading at, like 25, 28, wherever it was at, those are expensive, right? That is, you're paying outside of the historical norm for the premium for whatever underlying it is you're wanting to trade. So because of that, I want to be very, very mindful, that like you should be mindful when positioning into options is to be looking for particularly, compressed low volatility tickers. And if you can find those on beta and you think that, the beta has yet to really have its move in whichever direction, you can get some extreme repricing in those options. Like, I mean, you captured Coinbase on the move down. Like, Coinbase looked like it was kind of flooring out there for a while, and then and kind of was compressing a little bit around like where'd you catch it at? 270, 265?
Yeah, basically like 270, 265.
Yeah.
I was surprised the options moved as much as they did, but I guess it's a pretty big move, relatively speaking. So
yeah, when you get that big blowout like that, I mean, you get massive repricing. But yeah, it's interesting. Options are super tricky investment vehicles, and a lot of people just I mean, they literally gamble with them. They have no idea what they're doing. But if used right, they can be very, very, very nice payouts.
You're gonna let me talk about convexity?
Do it.
Love me some convexity. I was, one asset I think we can kind of take some signal from too is Palantir, right? Which obviously gave us this really nice pump back into 155 this morning. I think that's to me getting ready for another leg down as well. So I think when it begins that, we're probably going to see a lot of these risk assets that have bounced probably do the same thing. Palantir got the buoy though from being a defense stock now, right? I still think the chart looks like a textbook bubble chart though, right? Like we came out of the trowel, euphoria, we're in complacency right now, maybe denial. So, yeah.
Guys, if the bottom is in, which coins would you buy right now?
Just only Hyperliquid, that's it.
I would long, I mean, I'll give my targets. I obviously won't give the entries to the people listening here. But I would long ETH and Sol, ETH targeting 25, Sol targeting 110 to start. We'll see how we react out of those levels. I mean, I first need to get confirmation on a range break on these names. I think that is really important. I like a Hyperliquid long too. I like, kind of my baby Kita. I actually like a Monad too, interestingly enough. They've seemed to be kind of twapping it. Monad looks pretty good. You could probably get like a 50 to 75% move out of it.
I know Louis has been big on Monad, but I have no idea what it is, what it does. I haven't even checked.
I am wary. I mean, at this point, like, I don't really want to buy any token that isn't buying their own token, or like company that's not buying their own token. Because most of these things just have like ridiculous emissions still. Monad, I think the structure does not look that bad. Ironically, it actually kind of looks like the high time frame dollar chart now that I'm looking at it. Like very, very like monthly or 3-month chart on the dollar. But I just the whole team is leaving. I don't have a lot of confidence in buying a token where you have people like the whole team is leaving at the current valuation. Right, like Monad it's kind of become a bit of a meme how 3 or 4 team members they've all left the company as soon as their vesting cliff was reached. You've seen those memes, right? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Monero is probably like a free layup if we've bottomed. I don't think it's going to be.
Why do you think Monero is a free layup? Sorry, I zoned out.
I would say Monero is probably like a free 2, 3, 4x over the next like 5 to 10 years if we're bottomed here. So it's not like great speculative gains, but I do think Monero will continue to appreciate over time because I think on a fundamental level, it's just a bid on non-sovereign like storage value.
Yeah, but then there's the argument that if it's going to get brought into, like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of protocols that are bringing it in natively. So that's a risk to Monero because if Ethereum brings stealth shit in by native, then people will use that.
I don't love to see. It's kind of ironic. Like you want to have more places to trade these assets, but I also think you don't, right? Like Monero started trading with the market when it got listed on Hyperliquid. And that, I think, hurt the rally a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, same happened with Zec. As soon as Zec got listed in Hyperliquid, it was a local top for a bit, but then it did like 7x in like a few months. I bought 100k of that at 100 and sold it for 90 because I was so tilted that Kraken slipped me so bad and I immediately wanted out, and then it went to 700 within like a month. So
they slipped you for like 10% on Kraken.
Yeah, on Kraken for the 100k. That's so bad, isn't it?
Jesus.
That's terrible.
And they want an IPO.
It's so bad
for an exit too.
Yeah.
Our boy Barry there in the comments, he did very well off his Zcash.
Oh, yeah.
Caught it at the lows, is posting all about it, thesis and everything. Barry's talking about Near now.
Yeah, Near is good. Near is actually really good. Their team can ship. Whether it translates to the token is another thing.
Is this a Binance Cabal token?
I don't think so. I think it's just people kind of on it. They ship a lot. Like there's kind of like a super app thing where you can trade any coin privately across any chain. It's pretty crazy.
Do they have like a pretty large user base? Have you looked into like the metrics behind that? Like, are people actually using the protocol?
Probably not. Probably no one's using it, but the tech is really good. Like it's good tech, but whether no one seems to use anything these days. So,
man, I remember Pentoshi shilling me the absolute dog shit on Near tokens in 2022. Man, that's that man was shameless. He still is, but we won't have sour grapes.
Yeah.
We were speculators.
Aster had 20 active wallets last week. That's
how many of those were CZ?
I know. Dude, I went on there.
Are those Aster metrics true? I did see people say that.
I saw something like a few weeks ago that had pretty similar numbers. I'm assuming you could go in and check. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if that's the truth, to be honest. I got on there, use the platform one time and looks like I was watching a slideshow. I was like, I'm never using this again.
I saw there could be a loyalty
stop
penalty.
It. Nope.
So I never
and nope. That's not real.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It takes one trade on Aster, fucks himself on the next Hyperliquid airdrop.
I don't think they would be crazy for doing that. That would be a bad look for them, I think.
Bad look? I think that's a great look.
No, you shouldn't. That's like dissuading people from using competitors. That's lame as fuck. That's like something CZ would do.
Yeah, some little DS energy.
Why would you use anything other than Hyperliquid though at this point, other than like a risk standpoint?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, my friend is farming Nado or something, which is on Ink.
I've heard that.
But
I know like there's that group of guys that are like doing that with like Ink Chain, and there's those like 3 protocols, right? I forget what they even are, but they're like hard shilling them right now.
Jeez.
Yeah, I got to drop. Sorry, boys.
You're good, Chip.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, it's good fun. See you guys soon. All right,
see you later, man.
Later.
It's probably a pretty good spot for us to wrap the show up, guys. We hope you enjoyed the stream today, talking about all things markets. A reminder that we host this show throughout the week when the New York Stock Exchange is open on the following days: Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we'll catch you guys again tomorrow, see what the market has in store for us then. Of course, our typical start time is around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, give or take maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But also make sure to finish up your day with Market Talk, hosted by the legendary King Wabi. That is an X Spaces, like I said, hosted by King Wabi, but also the Because Bitcoin account on X. So make sure to stay following and subscribe to both of those so you can be notified, not just when we schedule those spaces, but of course also when we go live. The typical start time for Market Talk is around 3:30 to 3:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So catch you guys there later this afternoon and obviously throughout the week. But until tomorrow, until this afternoon, thank you again as always. And of course, stay safe.